Hi, I'm Lloyd Swain with Charter Channel 3, and thank you for watching today. We have an interesting program scheduled for you, and very informative, and if you're a voter and live in the city of Pasco, this is the most important thing. We have three people who are involved with the Pasco School District. First, I'd like to introduce them from my left to my right. Ryan Brault, the newest member of the Pasco School Board. Thank you for being here, Ryan. Sandra Hill, the superintendent for the Pasco School District, and Mike Miller, he's the head of the Citizens Committee that all want you to please be sure and vote on February 14th for the Maintenance and Operating Levy. Mike, talk to us a little bit more about that.
Well, it's really important. The M&O levy, Maintenance and Operations Levy, comes every 2 years. That happens, and it comprises roughly 21% of the budget. We as citizens look at this and say, okay, what is it going to cover? And it covers a multitude of transportation, librarians, activities such as arts and crafts classes, athletics, and I may have mentioned transportation, but that's in there as well. And it is something that we feel is important in our community to support, and so we come out every 2 years and work to make sure that we get passage for the levy.
Now, this is really not a new levy. This literally replaces. Every 2 years you have to revisit the costs of doing business with the schools. Is that correct?
That is true. It's we want to especially let everyone know it's a replacement tax. One goes off, the next one comes on. And so it's not adding to, it's just replacing the past one.
Ryan, why is it so important to be involved this particular year in this levy?
Well, it's a great question. I think obviously with the budget cuts that we've seen in the state, and all of us have been tightening our belts, but I think we've had a school district that continues to grow, and these dollars, as they fund a lot of the basic parts of education, is extremely important.
Sandra, this is you're supported by the Pasco community in a lot of your school efforts. What about this year? I know there's a budget issue with levy equalization funds. Would you talk about that?
Yes, Pasco is one of the many communities across the state, especially in eastern Washington, that qualifies for what the state calls levy equalization funds. And those are state funds that are used to at least partially level the playing field between property poor districts like Pasco and many others in the Tri-Cities and property rich districts. Those funds are very important because it's the state's realization that not all communities' assessed values are created equal. And it greatly supports Pasco taxpayers and the children in Pasco by providing funds to operate these basic programs that the levies across the state do in every district.
Do you believe that the state, because of the deficit that we have in this state, that the equalization funds are probably earmarked for?
The levy equalization funds are pretty much always on the table at the legislature, or at least have been over the past few bienniums due to our economic situation. And I'm happy to say that the majority of our legislators have realized the importance of not placing the burden of the state's economic crisis on the poorest districts in the state. Our message to them is don't cut every levy equalization, because it would impact Pasco to the tune of $12.4 million in one school year, and it would impact Bellevue nothing. So we fully realize the state needs to cut its budget. Our message is to our legislators is to make sure those cuts hit everybody equitably and not burden the poorest district the most. So that being said, we do realize that there may be a reduction, a cut in levy equalization. The governor's proposal included a cut to Pasco of about 10% of the levy equalization, which for us would be about $1.2 or $1.3 million. Whether that proposal ends up being implemented or not, I don't know. But nevertheless, it's very important that Pasco voters learn the facts about the levy and what it funds and make their decision based on information.
Mike, you're head of the Citizens Committee for this. You're really involved in making sure that people are aware of this issue, maintenance and operation and all of this. Talk to me about the role of the Citizens Committee in getting information out to the public.
There's a real reason that we are here, and that's for our children. And so we come with a passion for that first. We want to make sure that our children are getting the best education possible within our community. So with that in mind, then we go out there and we're trying to plan a campaign that allows us to make sure that you're aware. We actually help make sure people know to register to vote. You know, obviously we want them to vote a certain positive way. Okay, but that being said, we also want them to be a part of the community and have a say in how their children are going to get the education that they need. Next things that we have on the list are we let people know through letters to the editor, through the Tri-City Herald, through the Journal, Tri-City Journal of Business, through Hispanic to the cities and other Hispanic outlets of media. We want to make sure, obviously, we're here, and I want to thank you for that as well.
Oh, you're welcome.
But we let people know through signs, letters, through many opportunities to speak in front of groups. We have the school district on an educational basis, of course, lets people know and has different meetings set throughout the next 2-3 months here that we have before February 14th. And so we're trying to make sure that there's a lot of awareness, and I guess one other area we speak to a lot of service clubs, chambers, and let people know that way as well.
So how can people get a hold of you or find out about the meetings?
The meetings are set on the website, both at PASCO's website as well as the website for the
For the
our
Citizens Committee?
Group, too.
That's great. Ryan, you're the newest board member of the PASCO School District. Give me a little information about yourself and why you ran for the school board.
It's a great question. Well, first of all, I actually had an opportunity in the first place to get involved through a program called the PEAK program, which stands for Partnering and Educating All Kids. And it's a program in which businesses partner with local schools, or other organizations partner with local schools involved in different events, do provide some funding, and then and really that was one of the first steps that I had in the door, as well as attending some bus tours, volunteering in classrooms. I was a guest speaker at financial literacy classes, and so just really getting into the classroom, getting to see what's really going on inside of the schools, and it's often different as we see different groups of folks going to see it firsthand. It's often a lot different and a much more positive experience than they even perceived. And for me, it's, I actually don't have kids yet. That's the first thing that people, how old are your kids? Well, we don't have kids yet, but the idea is I wanted to get involved at this stage, because we do plan on having kids, and wanted to get involved and make sure that the schools are continuing to improve and just that much better, and have been impressed with what I've seen. At the same time, being a financial advisor, one of the things that I was impressed with, our director of finance actually received a call from the state auditor's office. Well, often you hear that at first, and for most public entities, I think that's a call that shows up on the caller ID, and maybe there's some nervousness. Well, the fact is, the reason that they were calling is because they wanted to use, and will be using, PASCO as basically using PASCO when they were looking at best practices for how we are stewards of the resources that we have, and really how we stretch every dollar that is available. And so I think that's something that again I was impressed with, and I think there are a lot of efficiency, a lot of innovation that I've seen in the school district as well. And these levy dollars are really support the programs that we're able to provide.
And I would make a point, Ryan serves on our Citizens Budget Panel.
Yes.
So we have a group of PASCO citizens, many of whom are accountants or in the financial world, who are learning about the budgeting and giving us advice. And Mike, as part of the chair of the Citizens Committee, both groups had input on the board's decision about the amount they would request from PASCO taxpayers in this levy. And based on that input and the board's deliberation, the estimated amount is a reduction from what voters approved in February of 2010. And so we realize that the board of directors realizes that everyone is tightening their belts, and the district is doing that as well. And so really looking at how we can squeeze that as tight as we could. So this estimated rate is a reduction from what voters approved last time.
And Lloyd, I would like to add to what Ryan pointed out there too. Good stewardship.
Yes.
Okay, we have great maintenance being done on all of the facilities. We certainly cannot say anything bad. We have, and maybe let's go the reverse on that. We have great teachers that are working hard with what they have and to work with our children. And so we have a great story to sell when we're out there in the community talking about why you should support the M&O levy on February 14th. It's a great story. We have a lot of feel-goods out there with a lot of people in different areas working hard to make sure that it happens in the school district. I'm really proud of what happens at the, not just with our superintendent, okay, but also the people that work for her and report to her and do everything that they can to make sure that we provide a good product for the kids.
How much would it cost a homeowner? I mean, I know they assess it on a per $1,000 evaluation, but Sandra, give me an example of.
So our estimated rate in this levy is $4.51 per thousand, which would be $451
a year.
A year for a $100,000 house, which is about
$40
a month.
Yeah.
So
just short of $40 a month.
That's really, pretty good. Really, I mean,
And
for
again,
the
I was just going to say again, as we've stressed, but I think can't stress enough, this is a replacement tax. And,
right.
And
you'll see a reduction.
the estimated
For this
rate is a
next thing.
reduction. And if if PASCO taxpayers approve the local levy, then we will get additional school funding from the state to help balance the property poor.
Well, that's great. That's great.
That's
Hey, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. I know it's going to be a tough time for the levy equalization funds, but you folks are very good stewards of the money for the schools, and we appreciate your hard work. So Ryan Brault, newest board member, Sandra Hill, Superintendent Mike Miller, the Citizens Committee. But thank you for watching, and have a great day.